Okay, so today I want to go over how much time you need to spend in the gym. Let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to go over is just how much time you need. And the second thing I'm going to go over is honestly like prioritizing and finding ways to actually give yourself this amount of time, because I feel like that's more what a lot of people struggle with. But so for starters, I'd say you need a minimum of 45 minutes in the gym when you're going to go, because that's like the quickest. And honestly, I was rushing and like almost felt like I didn't even have enough time still. But I also like longer workouts comparatively to 45 minutes. So I've been able to do 45 minutes before and I made progress and I felt I was still getting like a nice effective workout in. But the other thing is, if you're gonna do a short workout like that, you need to be upping the intensity because you're not gonna be doing as much volume because you don't have as much time. So honestly, I started doing this then, and honestly, I've just kind of kept doing it because I actually really enjoy the training style. But I just do 2 sets of every exercise, but 2 failure. There's certain exercises where I'll do 3 just because they're hard to like drop set or increase the intensity or do like a rest pause set. But most exercises, I just do 2 sets and I do very high intensity. So just like a quick example of this is when I'm on like a Smith machine, I'll be doing like an incline bench press on the Smith machine. There's 2 ways I'll increase the intensity, so I can only have to do 2 sets. Either I'm going to do a drop set where I'll just like the second I'm done with my set, hop off. Like typically I've been doing like it's not 185. I don't know the weight because it's a Smith machine, but it's 45 and 25, and then I'll take the 25s off, throw 10s on, and keep going from there and just push out a couple more reps. Or you can do what's called a rest pause set, which is actually so perfect for a Smith machine, and this is what I tend to do more. But you just push till basically failure, right? And then you flip the thing back on, the bar back on the Smith machine. Count to like 15, give it like 15 seconds, and then unrack it and push out a couple more reps. Typically I can get like 3-4 more reps, and like it is such a good like intensity building thing, genuinely. So as I said, when you have 45 minutes, you need to increase the intensity. So for me personally, let's say I was doing like a pull day, I'd probably do 4 back exercises, 3 bicep exercises, 2 sets for everything, and just really high intensity. And for me personally, I kind of figured out that I had to cap my rest at 2 minutes, that's one of the big differences for when I work out longer, is I do a little bit longer rest periods. But when I only had 45 minutes, because this was, which I've talked about before, it was right before student teaching, so I only had like 45 to maybe 55 minutes. So I knew like I had to cap my rest at exactly 2 minutes, or else I just like was not gonna finish my workout, or I was gonna be late to school. So that's the low end, obviously. Now, personally, I probably spend about an hour 15 in the gym, but also right now I have a leg injury and about to have surgery, so I'm not really doing cardio. If I was doing cardio, add in an extra 20 to 30 minutes. But you can also get your cardio in at other times, doing other things, or if you're at a job where you're on your feet all the time, like you definitely should still do some cardio, but if you're on your feet all the time, it's very different than working like a 9 to 5 at a desk. So you can get some cardio that way. So that's how long I'd say. Personally, I don't really think you ever need to be in the gym for more than 2 hours. Even let's say you take a little bit longer than me and you want to work out for an hour and a half, because as I said, I'm usually an hour 15. Even if you do 30 minutes of cardio, that's still capping you at 2 hours. And personally, I just don't really see your need to be there. Like, it's just going to be diminishing returns once you start lifting for too long. Now, if you're someone who takes really long rest breaks and that's why you're there longer, that's fair, I guess. It's your time, you spend it how you want to. But personally, that's just not me. Because there was a point in my training where I did do that, where all of my lifts were 2 hours and 15 minutes just lifting, and then I would do cardio. But I was also taking a minimum of 4 to 5 minutes rest of the time. Like I did a lot of rest, and then I ended up toning that back a little bit. So that would pretty much be how much time I think you should spend in the gym. Obviously, any time in the middle is fine, but I really think 45 minutes is like the low end. And obviously, you can spend as much time there as you want. That's really up to you. But I really think 2 hours, including cardio, is like more than enough. Okay, so I just told you all that you should be in the gym that much time, right? So now you're probably trying to figure out, how do I fit that into my schedule? So I just want to break down the amount of time you have in a week and show you that you really can build it in if you want to. It's just you're not prioritizing it if you don't think you have the time, right? So there's 168 hours a week. Let's say you're working 40 hours a week, right? You're gonna sleep I did 8 hours a night, so that's 56 more hours. I said you're gonna get 20 hours for time with family and friends. I feel like that's a very good amount. I gave 4 hours literally just driving to places, like driving to work, driving back, driving to maybe the supermarket or whatever it is, right? I gave 14 hours for food. That is making your meals and eating them, which that is probably an excessive amount of time, but I gave that much amount of time. Though that only is 134 hours of the week. Let's say you work out for 2 hours. This is the high end of what I said. 7 days a week, which you don't need to work out 7 days a week. You can work out less than that. That would still only put you up to 148 hours a week. So what does that mean? I said there's 168 hours a week. That still gives you an extra 20 hours of just whatever. Maybe one of these things takes longer. Maybe you need extra time. Maybe you have a doctor's appointment this week, whatever. But I doubt all of that extra stuff is gonna take 20 hours a week. And as I said, I went on the high end of how much time it's gonna take you to work out. Like, you can very easily add in time and find ways to get your workouts in. You just have to prioritize it. For example, like, I know when I was student teaching, I had a 35-minute commute each way every single day. So in 35 to 40 minutes, realistically. It was typically more, almost 40. So I had about an hour 20, let's say, hour 10, hour 20 commute every day. I was in the school for about 8 hours every day. That's 9.5 hours out of my day. Let's say most days, most people are up for 16 hours. So that left me with 7 hours, right? Now, I have not even mentioned food yet. So I had about, let's say, half hour, 45 minutes for food in the morning. And then I had to cook my dinners. I cooked most of my meals. So that was about an hour 15, let's say. So that's another 2 hours. Now I'm at 11 hours. Now, I also had schoolwork I needed to do. Let's say, because at that time it wasn't crazy amount. Let's say a half hour for that. I also had class some days. And on top of that, I wanted to work out. So that would only leave me with like an hour to 2 hours a day of like free time or like time to spend with friends. But guess what? Like, I wanted to get my workouts in. That's why when I had to be at the school at 8:30, I woke up at 5 a.m. to get to a school at 8:30. Why? Because I woke up, ate a little bit, went to the gym for 45 minutes. Because at that time, as I told you, I like to work out for an hour 15, hour 30. I didn't have that time at that time. So guess what? I put my 45 minutes in, gave it my all during those 45 minutes. And then after my 45 minutes were up, come back, shower, eat again, because I was bulking at the time, drive to school, go to school. And then like realistically, when I got back from school, I would eat dinner at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. And then I was asleep by 8 o'clock because I had to be up at 5 a.m. the next morning. Like, I was going to sleep early. So that's just how it was. So honestly, like, you can spend any amount of time in the gym. It's always better to do something rather than nothing. Personally, as I said, I recommend somewhere between 45 minutes and 2 hours, somewhere in there. Because I think 45 minutes, in my opinion, is the low end of like being able to get a good workout in. But just know, if you can't find time to go to the gym, a lot of times it's really just your priorities. Like, honestly, you should obviously spend time with friends and family, but if a lot of that time with friends and family is just meal times, like, it's very easy to make it that. I gave you 20 hours for that. Like, you can cut that back and give yourself a little bit more time if you needed it, even though I already had 20 free hours. So as I said, a lot of times it's really just you're not prioritizing it and getting the maximum out of your time. It's time management, things like that. Okay, so now it's time for my Sunday Night Football pickups. This week's honestly it just feels like a weird game. I don't know why, but it's Bengals-Chargers. I am looking at this on Monday, so it is a week before the game pretty much. But it's a 1.5 point spread in the favor of the Chargers. So the Chargers are favored. Now, this is really tough for me because I'm irrationally high on the Bengals. So personally, I would easily say I think the Bengals are going to win this game. Because the Chargers are a good team, but the Bengals are just, they're so good. The Bengals can be so good, but then they also suck randomly. So realistically, if you want a safe bet on this game, I'd probably take Bengals plus 3.5 and give them a field goal to lose by and hope that you can win. But honestly, I think the Bengals are going to win outright. So yeah, that will be my pick for this week. Honestly though, it's definitely a very odd game. Probably, like, realistically, I'm probably not going to bet on this game. It's probably a stay away. Okay, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you now figured out how much time you need to be spending in the gym and find better ways to find time or prioritize better to get more time in the gym. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe, send this to someone else, and I'll catch you on next Sunday at 5 p.m. Catch you there.